These are the top 10 Minecraft gun mods for 2024 for ultimate destruction and absolute mayhem. There's a lot of weapons in Minecraft, from swords that you craft from ores to tridents to even bows and crossbows. But what if you wanted some more powerful modern weapons or classical utensils of warfare? The first one is timeless and classic guns. Now this is perhaps one of the absolute best Minecraft gun mods right now, and it kind of looks like we're playing a Call of Duty game right now because this gun mod is so high quality. There's some really crazy animations, there's movement bobbing when we move around with the weapons, and you're probably wondering, what's this little thing right here? Well, this is actually the crafting bench, and this workbench is basically where we can create all the things within this mod. So we can actually create weapons, and on the right hand side it shows us which materials we need to actually craft that specific weapon. And it's also broken down into categories, so we have everything from assault rifles, heavy weapons, we have a whole bunch of them which I'll be showing you in a few moments, pistols, shotguns, SMGs, and also this is where we actually craft the attachments. Now you'll see there's some interesting ones because not only do we have scopes, we also have weapon upgrades that give us certain perks like hip fire accuracy, which I'll show you too. Also there's different ammo which we can craft, which use things like different ingots and gunpowder to make, and then also there's a miscellaneous section for different skin mods. So I have a weapon right here, and what we can do is we can press the Z key and it opens up this optional interface where we can actually add different attachments and stuff to our weapon. So I could just throw on this EOTech sight in here, which I'm going to show you just quickly on this AK. So we could just throw in this attachment here, and now I have basically a holotech on my AK which actually helps me aim. Now I'm in creative mode. If I go in survival, we only have limited rounds. As you can see, the ammo count is going down because I don't actually have any ammo, but there is actually some pretty crazy reload animations. So let me first show you all the pistols. Now all these weapons you'll probably have seen from Call of Duty, like M1911, and they all have iron sights. The Glock 17, which is actually a semi-auto one, the reload animations, which you can actually see here, even in creative mode, I just forced that reload animation for you. Then we also have the P45, M92FS, and also the Deagle, which everyone's probably been waiting for if you play Counter-Strike, which is actually a one-shot kill every time, even if you hit them in the body. Then the Glock 18, this one was the one I showed you in the beginning intro, which is actually fully auto, and also the CZ, which kind of sounds like it's got sounds from. Remember, CZ auto is actually, I believe that's from CSGO, and that's the fully auto version, and the MK23. You can see when we fire at these villagers, they also have hit marks on too. Now you'll see the selection of weapons range from modern to more classical ones. Like you'll see some weapons from like the 70s and 80s and some of them just from the 2000s. So here's the SMGs in action, the famous Modern Warfare Vector, the MAC-10, which is kind of like a gangster weapon, exactly just like this, the M1A1 Tommy gun. So you could definitely make like a server role-playing as like 1950s gangsters. The MP5, A5, which is like a SWAT variant. MP7, which I think they've actually copied the MP7 from CSGO. The MP9. And all of them have different iron sights and different fire rates. The P90 reload animation is awesome, and if you press G, you can switch the fire mode, so I can literally just go single shot with the P90. Now the P90, just like its real counterpart, does actually have kind of like a built-in red dot sight, so you don't actually need to put an attachment on that, but you can optionally add one. And then also another version of the Uzi. The first one was the smaller variant, which is the MAC-10, which is technically like a machine pistol, and then we have the Uzi, which is a little bit more high-powered. Now everyone's going to want to see the rifles now because these are all like the modern rifles. Most of these are from like the most recent COD games like Warzone, and I'll put the attachment specifically on these later. I showed you the attachment on the AK at the start. Now the M4, if you switch it to single shot, it kind of makes it seem more like an M16. I don't think you can have a burst round on it. It's either fully auto or single shot. Then the QBZ, which seems familiar. I think this might have been from Titanfall. I can't remember which game that's from. The M14, another COD weapon. MK41. That doesn't really do much. Type 81, I guess, is just like another version of the AK. FAL, the SIG Spear, and the SVS Tactical, which I think is also in the Blockfront mod pack. And you'll see there's a whole bunch of rifles here. This is probably the biggest section. What I'm most excited for, though, is to get onto the sniper section, because that's going to be sick. Right, here we have the M16. So it does have a fully auto mode, or it has single shot, and it also has a 3-shot burst. Now I'd actually be interested to put some attachments on this later, if I remember. The Modern Warfare Scar H, perhaps one of the most legendary weapons. Or maybe it was Scar L, I can't remember. They're both very similar to each other. Okay, that's a burst fire weapon, or a single shot, so it's like a semi-auto rifle. MK18 is another COD weapon. And the G3A3 battle rifle, which is absolutely deadly, especially against iron golems if we put it on auto mode. Next, which is going to be exciting, is snipers. Now, this would not really make sense if we didn't actually put attachments on these, so I am going to actually put some attachments on. And you can see we can also add skins, which I'll show you later. So let's go ahead and put some scopes on. Maybe we can put a different scope on each one. I'm not sure if they support close range scopes on the snipers, but we'll give it a bash. So the M24, we're just going to put like more of a long range scope on. And I think maybe if we hold shift, it makes it more accurate. I'm not quite sure. But these are obviously bot action high powered ones. For the Barrett, can we put an... Oh, we can actually put an EOTech holographic on a Barrett 50 cal. That was actually pretty satisfying. I think this is basically like the L96. Okay, we'll put an aim point on this, which is like a red dot. Oh my god, there's sounds. So satisfying. Scar MK20. We'll put like a red dot on this. Look at the view bobbing when we go side to side. It's so realistic. Now, the reason why I think skins would be better to put on these weapons is because, like, the default, like, grey, it doesn't really look right, especially on the attachments, because all the weapons are different colours, so they don't really blend in. And then we have the Barrett MRAD. Oh my god. And you can see it has particles for the bullets. You can see the bullet if you look closely. You can actually see the bullet flying sometimes. Now, shotguns, there's not actually much here. There's only 4 different shotguns, but we're probably going to have a lot of fun with the AA-12. So the sawn-off, obviously, is super OP in creative mode, but obviously doesn't shoot through doors, which it probably would in real life. But it definitely packs a punch. Then we have the AA-12, which is completely automatic. Then the M870, which when it's cocked sounds epic. And then the M1014, which I thought was an auto shotgun, but apparently on this we have to tap it a few times. Then now we have heavy weapons. So yeah, again with these, there's not actually that much, but they're kind of in weird categories because you think that the RPG would probably be in like a missed category, but it's thrown in with all like the LMGs or heavy MGs. We have the M60. These don't really have different fire modes because they're just mostly automatic. The DP28, which is like a World War I or II weapon, which is pretty cool. That definitely looks like it'd be in the block for the mod pack. RPK, so that's like a heavy version of the AK basically, but with more ammo. Oh my god. And then the M2419 sword. Look, it's just firing into that crowd. It's just... Okay, the RPG is going to be interesting. Let's see how it packs a punch. We need to find the biggest crowd. Let's... Okay, yeah, it was a little bit anticlimactic because it doesn't create a real explosion, but it does quite a lot of damage in a big radius, right? Okay, so now before we close this video out, what I do want to show is I want to show the attachment system a little bit in more greater detail. So we're going to put some attachments on. So let's put on an ACOG scope. Maybe we'll put on like a 4 times, and then what we'll do is we'll go from there. So we've got an ACOG scope on this M16, which is actually really cool, and it does definitely fit with the weapon. Then we want to put some mods on, but first I want to show some other things. So first of all is these bullets. So these are obviously the rounds that different weapons obviously match. You can't really switch the rounds on certain weapons unless they actually match that certain weapon. And I also want to show the nades just real quick because I forgot to graze over those before when we were on the other ones. The more we hold it, there's a timer. So if we hold it in our hand for too long, it will actually explode and kill us. But since we're in creative, it's not going to kill us. And it does take a few seconds to actually explode as well. So it's not like an impact nade. It does take a few seconds to detonate. But that also leaves villagers the chance to walk into them and then explode a few seconds after throwing it, which is also pretty funny. So there are a few different skins. Some of them are only for certain weapons, like this says the Spent Bullet AK-47. Also, H is weapon inspect, so if you want to know how to inspect your weapon and do those cool screenshots, you can do that. But when we press F1 in Minecraft, it does remove the weapon as well as the interface, so we can't like hide the hood. Now, each weapon has a different inspect animation, so the Deagle, he just flips it on his non-existent Minecraft finger. Now, as well as these skins and attachments, we also have armor. So we have heavy and light armor, and we have a few different items here, as well as the workbench. So I'll just quickly show you these armors as well while I'm at it. This one is an ammo pack. So when we right click, it actually functions as an ammo pack where we can carry ammo, and it allows us to actually store ammunition in it. Also, we have a few attachments here. So as well as skins, we have attachments. So we have like suppressor, muzzle brake. These all do things to the weapon. This obviously lowers the sound radius, the suppressor. Muzzle brake improves the vertical recoil by minusing 22%. Then we have muzzle compensator. Obviously, a few of these I believe conflict with each other. Pistol suppressor, light stock, tactical stock, and heavy stock obviously are going to impact the weapon differently. And also we have specialized grips. So some really cool stuff, especially the laser devices. These do all affect the weapon. We can go from small to medium to large extended mag 2, which increases the capacity for ammo. So I'm just going to go inside the weapon customization and see just how many we can actually put on this. So we can put the suppressor in here, and that goes in that slot. But obviously the muzzle compensator battles for the same slot, so you can only put one of each. Heavy stock and specialized grip. Obviously, they only work for certain weapons. I can only put the specialized grip on this one. Then we can put the laser on and a large extended mag. So now we can reload the weapon again, and we get 61 bullets instead of 31. And our weapon has a laser on it, but you can see when we zoom in, it's actually slowed down. We can't actually zoom ADS, aim down sights, as quick as before because of these new attachments we put on. I think it was the heavy mag that actually made it so we can't zoom in quickly. So that obviously affects us in a gunfight if we're playing this on multiplayer. But if we inspect now, you can see we've actually modded this weapon, which is pretty cool. As well as these skins which we can use, there's also a pretty cool thing because we actually added some weapon mods onto the gun in the customization, but there's actually a boatload of actual enchantments which are kind of like Minecraft default enchantments that we can actually put on our weapons within the enchantment bench. So we can actually put attachments on which improve the weapon, but we can also enchant them. So we have ergonomic, L collateral, reclaimed, overpressured, tumbling, fire starter, advanced rifling, and buffered recoil. Now I'm going to try and put a few of these on. So I'm going to try and put a few of these enchantments on. I don't know how many we can put on at the same time, but it's letting me put loads of enchantments on. So I'm not sure if the enchantments combine because at the bottom it says that they're all on the weapon. So I guess this is just going to make the weapon much better. As you can see, the weapon gets equipped really quickly. I'm not sure if that's changed from before. But now, for an example, we set blocks and enemies on fire when we actually shoot at them, and we do a lot more damage. So not only can we have attachments, we can also combine enchantments. And that's why Timeless and Classic Guns is a great mod. Not to mention the third-person animations, like the ADS and aim down sights, which makes things a little bit more realistic. The next mod, Additional Guns, actually uses Mr. Crayfish's guns as a base, so you do need that mod installed. And first of all, we're just going to go ahead and actually craft the workbench, which we need for all the weapons in that mod. And it looks very similar to the Timeless and Classic Guns workbench, which was inspired by this mod. We have the workbench here, so we can create a lot of the weapons in the base mod for Mr. Crayfish's. But Additional Guns adds a whole bunch of extra weapons for this mod. For an example, the Vintoris and also the Ace of Spades, which are Overwatch weapons. And you can see the items required to craft them on the right hand side, and also the attachments we can craft in here, as well as the ammo. Like I said, same base mod as Timeless and Classic Guns, so you get the deal. So now I'm going to show you some of the coolest weapons in the Additional Guns mod, and you can see there's absolutely loads of them, a little less than the last mod, and we're unfortunately going to slay a whole bunch of villagers again. Now you'll notice this mod isn't actually broken down into categories or tabs for each type of weapon. They're just all kind of jumbled in here. Hopefully they'll improve that in the future, but they've also added some new attachments which aren't there in the original Mr. Crayfish's. So let's just spawn a bunch of these weapons. Now, fittingly, I've actually spawned iron golems here this time instead of normal villagers, because obviously we're going to get tired with slaying millions of villagers over and over again. I'm going to show you the attachment system after, but I just want to show you as many weapons as I can and how they operate just before we do that. And you'll see that they kind of have the same base color. They're all white. That's so you can customize them. I don't really like these basic white weapons, but they still look pretty cool. The last mod obviously had some better animations and better weapon appearances, which is why I featured it first. But some of these weapons are so cool. Now, the reason why they're basic is because you want to add attachments and stuff onto them in the workbench. That's why they kind of give you the bare bones base weapons, and they'll look a lot better once you further customize them. But it's not just Overwatch these weapons are based off. You'll probably see this weapon is the Bison, which is based off CSGO. The M8049 is actually a sniper's gun off Team Fortress 2, if you haven't recognized that. So a lot of these weapons are actually from a lot of popular fan material from different games. You might notice a few of them as we try them, and then a lot of them are just kind of custom guns or modern weapons you'll find everywhere. We have the Glock 18, my favourite weapon from Modern Warfare 2, getting the dual G18s, or akimbo I guess. The AK kind of looks out of place though, a white AK. I don't know how I feel about that. And also the sniper without a scope, just ain't it. Also the Deagle looks kind of cool, but the model definitely doesn't look as good in this mod. But the iron sights though on the base AK look really good. Like, you don't even need a scope on this thing. But you'll notice the iron golems definitely do take a little bit more of a beating than the villagers do, which is a better gauge to show you how powerful these are. This is the AKS-74U, which is off Call of Duty 4, and yet again we have the M16. I'm not sure if we can change the fire mode here. There's probably a key for that. I like the transition between like hip fire and then going to the scope. It just feels really smooth and fluid, and it's really easy to aim with this mod too. I think there's different sensitivities for aim down sights somehow. I don't know how they do it. This is weird because it's kind of like a blend between like a Wild West and a modern gun, kind of like those weapons off Blade Runner. In fact, it probably is off Blade Runner, I don't know. Then we have a Wild West Magnum, the Scar, which I think is probably one of the best looking weapons on this mod, and then this shotgun here, which looks more like a repeater from the Wild West. Now, USAS isn't actually an AR. It fires like an AR, but you'll see the range on it is not that great. In fact, okay, the range is actually very good. I take that back. This isn't AR. This is actually a shotgun. Oh my god, that cracked that golem so easily. Get away from my workbench. Okay, let's just get a weapon to mod. So, I guess we could get the AK-104. There is a range of different bullets: heavy bullet, long bullet, medium, short, small, special, heavy bullet casing, medium, all different bullet casings as well. But what we're interested in is obviously these different attachments. So we have like holographics, different stocks, basically just like the last mod, but attachments that are added in this mod. So the attachments can be added the same way because, like I said, it's still Mr. Crayfish's. So we press Z and we can put the iron sight on. So I could do that and just change the iron sight to a different one, and it makes this satisfying click sound. Well, I think that's my favorite sight because it just really blends into the weapon. Okay, let's add a stock on. We can't use a stock on this. We have to add... Oh, we can add a heavy muzzle brake on here. What about a suppressor? Does it work on this weapon? Oh my god, that looks cool with a silencer. You can barely even hear it too. That's so cool. A sniper muzzle brake. Obviously certain ones work on certain weapons. Angle grip. That does work though. So we can use an angle grip, which improves the recoil. But all in all, a pretty cool mod, even with the sprinting animations. Like I said, since it's all Mr. Crayfish's, very similar things to the last mod because they're all just additions to that one. Next up is the Squirt Gun mod, and you can see our village is absolutely on fire, burning down to the ground from the last mod that we ran. But first of all, we need a fluid encapsulation matrix, and inside here, we can actually get chemicals. So we'd fill it with things like empty vials, and then that would give us chemicals using a recipe. So I'd throw in something like sulfur trioxide, and it would actually give us chemicals once it gets produced. And we can right click on this thing to fill it up too, but this is how we actually fill vials in the mod. But when you have a vial, you can basically load them in the weapon. You can basically have vials that actually give yourself things. You can have acid vials just to spray acid, like hydrochloric acid, just pretty OP. So if I hold right click, it says empty right now, but we can actually load them in the weapon. So if I hold shift, I think it's usually shift and right click, but I set a custom keybind and then open up the Squirt Gun settings, we can actually set which vial is actually set in it. So I could just put the hydrochloric acid in, and now what we can do is we can just go ham and just spray these acid vials and stuff, which fires like a really high velocity acid filled serum at any victim you want to fire with a Squirt Gun, which is kind of evil, especially just like burning that sheep with hydrochloric acid. I think if you want to mess with this mod, there's something wrong in your head. Like, you're just a psycho. You just innately have something missing in your brain if you just want to torture people with this mod, but it's still pretty satisfying. And also I think it's like an AoE effect, so if it like lands on the ground or something, or if it lands in a different villager, I think it spreads. But yeah, probably one of 2024's most evil mods. NineZero's gun expansion. Same deal, Mr. Crayfish's, over 10 different weapons to use, as you can see, and a whole bunch of ammunition. And they all use this medium bullet. There's no custom ammunition with these, but they do have some custom sight stocks and scopes, just like the last mod. Now, most of these Mr. Crayfish gun mods are the same, so I'm just going to show you the weapons quickly. Now these also have generic names like infantry rifle, automatic rifle, bolt action rifle. They don't have any branded weapon names, so you probably won't recognize what they actually are, but you can kind of see the gist of what they're actually based on. Okay, so now let's put some attachments on this thing. So, particularly for the sniper, we can put an extended barrel on it. We also want to put a ballistic scope on this thing, so we can actually zoom in far away. And then can we put a horizontal grip on it? Yep. And then we can't put a stock on. So just look, night and day difference, how much better this sniper is now. We can hit this slime all the way from over there. In fact, if we get a little bit closer so we can actually see people in the village, we could probably actually snipe a villager, although I think they're all dead. I think we probably killed them in the oh no. Okay, now they're all dead. In keeping with the same trend as before, Mo Guns is another mod which adds weapons to Mr. Crayfish's Guns mod, but you'll see I've positioned myself in a precariously positioned place where we can actually have some target practice. And now we can spawn a whole bunch of zombies to test some of these weapons on, instead of killing the same villagers. Now if you just look, yet again this is kind of a mod which adds only a few weapons, but even though it doesn't have many, it definitely makes up for it in the quality. So let's just test some of these out. We have the Scar L, which is like an SMG, G36C, very squat-esque, and also this big iron, which is just this absolutely humongous pistol, which just one-shots everything. Now I don't know what the trash can does. Okay, now I know what the trash can does. AKM, AS Val. Okay, we're gonna have to keep pressing this button every time we want a new range of zombies. The Tommy gun in this mod looks a lot better than the last few mods. M16. And the FAMAS. Some really nice modeling though in this mod. You can see we also have a flamethrower, which I'm excited to try out. Now, you kind of understand the whole idea with all the scopes and attachments, so I'm not going to bother showing you all the attachments again in this mod, because they're all kind of the same in the Mr. Crayfish Guns mods. Okay, this Mossberg is sick, look at that. I feel like I'm playing a zombie survival game right now. This just says Glock, but it's like a 2D sprite and it makes a stupid sound. Okay, now for the fun weapons. Okay, I like the vibe of this rap rifle. It's just literally got like Christmas lights all over it. And they're actually animated if you look closely. Hellfire, which seems like a Warhammer 40k like weapon. Wait, does that... Oh, I thought that broke the blocks, but it doesn't. I think they were all already broken. I think that's where the zombies come out of for the spawn. Okay, the range on this weapon's abysmal. Now we have a few different flamethrowers and a flare gun, but what's interesting for me is this tacky and this trumpet, which I'm going to guess is dropped by trumpet skeletons. I'd be disappointed if it isn't. Oh my god, that flamethrower sets everything on fire. I'm not sure if one's like better than the other, but they're pretty OP. Wait, oh I eat this, okay. Let's see how OP this trumpet is. Okay, that was anticlimactic, but it does quite a bit of damage at least. And there's also a whole bunch of different shells supported by these weapons, as well as some garbage, which I think is for the trash gun. I'm starting to think I probably should have made this into a Mr. Crayfish Guns add-ons video rather than a gun mods video, because, yet again, the next one, Project Arsenal, is another add-on. But hear me out, because this one's also pretty equally cool. And it's also kind of lagging because there's so many custom guns, or at least that's the excuse I'm going to tell myself. And we're in our nice little gun range again to test these bad boys out. Dan, how many different Desert Eagles is there? Jesus. This is literally a Desert Eagle mod. Okay, now we have a few different weapons. That's what I'm talking about. An automatic M1911, bro. Wait, that's literally two guns just put together. Now this one has some memorable weapons. So we have M9 pistol, which is like a police weapon. P250. This looks like a taser, but it's not a taser. Another automatic Glock. Auto 9, what's this? Auto 9mm weapon, I presume. Oh my god, that Vector is really satisfying. The sound, the recoil. That P90 just looks too big and like out of place. Oh wait, there's a fire mode. Oh, we press V and we can change it to semi-auto. Okay, that feels weird. Semi-auto P90. Let the zombies drop. AR-15 Classic. Wait, that's sick. Okay, this M2490 is beefy. It's kind of weird that we can fire this in semi-auto as well. Oh my god, that was OP. It wouldn't be right if I didn't show you the attachments. So we do yet again have some suppressors and muzzle brakes. What about on this weapon? Can we put attachments on this? Oh, we can literally put like nearly all of them on. Nice. The next one is simple animated guns, which is actually a fabric mod, and all of the past ones have been forged mods. And get this, this isn't actually a Mr. Crayfish's add-on, so this is its own standalone mod. So if you're getting tired of Mr. Crayfish's guns mods, then this one's going to be a bit different. Now you can see already we toggle iron sights, so we have to basically right click and then it just aims in. And even in creative mode, we can't actually fire these unless we have ammo. So we're going to have to go to MISC, and you're basically going to have to get the right ammo to actually be able to fire these, even in creative. Because usually in creative, you get unlimited ammo for all weapons in all gun mods. This one, apparently not. Okay, now we can reload. That's what I'm talking about. So they've got nice muzzle flare effects. It takes a while to load them. And they also have, I think the toggleable iron sights make them a lot better because it allows us to actually more precisely aim. But this is kind of like a copy of Mr. Crayfish's guns mod in a way, because most of the guns are like white. And there's like an ammo counter at the bottom on the hotbar, so you can see every time he puts in a cartridge, that blue bar goes up to show how many bullets you've got left. But it doesn't go down when you fire a weapon, so... This kind of reminds me of those really good animations they did for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Then we just have the assault rifle, which kind of has some iron sights already. Heavy assault rifle. If you're wondering what's happening here, I'm in kind of like a zombie arena I downloaded. I have no clue. I think this map was made like 10 years ago. And yet again, these are kind of all jumbled. They're not in their own weapon tab, so I have no clue what these weapons are and what they belong to. But to say they're fabric mods, they're actually really impressively made, especially how he loads those two cartridges into the weapon. Okay, that's a Spaz 12. It's called the combat gun, but that's a Spaz 12 right there. Look how clean those reload animations are, bro. This isn't even a forge mod. I think it uses Gecko Lib though. Okay, hunting rifle. I think this is like a Springfield upload. Oh, that scope looks so good. Anti-material rifle. Okay. Well, first of all, material spelt wrong, but I don't want to be one of those guys. This is probably going to be really overpowered. Oh, it's just a sniper. I mean, you can one-shot a mini-zombie, though, so you know it's overpowered. And then everyone's been waiting for the last one, which is the minigun. You can also have attachments here, and there's also blueprints to craft all these weapons as well. Now, this next one is definitely going to interest you. This is Guns RPG, which is a hardcore Minecraft mod which adds RPG elements to the game, like character skills, upgrades, perks, and even quests. And there's even, when we press O, this brand new skill tree. Now, this skill tree features over 300 different custom skills, which we can basically use to upgrade our character and our weapons. And you'll see it split into 4 main key systems. So we have weapon, which obviously affects our weapon. We also have the survival tier, we have the mining tier. Obviously by clicking on them it shows all the ones in that specific skill tree. And then below we also have our level and the amount of kills we have, I presume, until leveling up, as well as this little guide over here which shows an overview of every single perk which we can access. So this is really interesting. So if we click on ones that are available, Bone Grinder 1 allows us to craft a bone meal with yield of 4, Gunpowder Novice allows us to craft gunpowder with a yield of 2, Wooden Ammo Smith allows us to create basic bullet casings, empty shells, and all wooden ammo types. So these are pretty interesting. Obviously we need a certain level to actually level up, so as we level up we acquire points, which we can then purchase these perks from and then go down the skill tree. We use the O keybind to open this, and also the weapon skills in here have their own internal skill trees too. For an example, if you have a specific weapon, you can click on the skill tree for that weapon, which usually goes under here, and then you can enter in the skill tree. But you have to unlock them. And you can see in the bottom right, we also have a bar here too, and a number in the top right, so we have custom HUD elements. Now there's a whole bunch of guns RPG items. I can't go through all of them, but it's everything from AR turrets and rocket turrets and SMG turrets to healing items, new food types, and different packs of crystals, stocks, things to build weapons, also healing items, which you could use for like an apocalyptic survival mode. I'll just throw down some of these turrets just to kind of show you what they look like and just quickly go through them. Obviously, we fill these with ammo, for an example. Then we also have the weapons, so all the ammo types as well as the weapons. So let's go ahead and spawn them. I'm actually going to show you the nades first because these look pretty cool. So we have to hold right click to unpin it and then lob it like that. So we have a normal nade like that, then we have a massive nade, which I presume the only difference is the impact, and then also actually an impact nade, which blows up obviously on impact. So before we test these weapons, as usual, let's go ahead and let's actually find a village to cause some mayhem. Oh, we found an ice village. Nice, perfect. Remember, since we're not using Mr. Crayfish's guns mod anymore, these weapons are going to look different. Now, if we hold R, when we've actually got a weapon out, it shows all of the different ammo types we can use. So we can load a different ammo type, but obviously it requires a certain level to actually load them in. So for an example, I could go find the wood ammo for this weapon, but it has to obviously match our weapon. But I'll just show you all the weapons, even though we're not like at the level to actually use them. You can see there's some really cool modeled guns. And unfortunately, I can't hack my way to a better level to show you, unfortunately. But I can at least show you all the models. And the interesting thing is for the nades, we don't actually need a specific level, only for the weapons, which is kind of like weird. Especially since the nade launcher can basically do the most damage. All the ammos for different types of weapons, they all just do the same thing. We can load different types of rockets. Like we can fire napalm, HE rockets, normal rockets, toxin rockets, and demolition types. And over here, we have a tab called blocks. So from here, we have things like the blast furnace, we have airdrops, smithing table, gold dragon egg, which is pretty interesting. I'm just going to spawn a whole bunch of these interesting blocks just to show you a few of them. Arctic military crate. All these obviously spawn naturally in the world. And obviously, these will probably contain loot in them when they naturally spawn. Repair station, which we need to unlock via the skill. A stove. So all these blocks is basically, since it's an RPG, we actually need to unlock most of them, any that have like an interface, but we can use the crafting bench just by default to craft our weapons in. But the airdrop's interesting because it has this kind of flare or the smoke particles that come out, and then when you open it up, it breaks after you leave the block. So that'll be filled with like attachments and ammo and stuff, probably weapons as well, just like PUBG. Also, all the native ores which are added, these green orb ores and crystals, as well as a culinary table, medical station, and ammo bench. And the models are actually done pretty well. You can see all these small details which they made. They've definitely been using some reference images to make these. Now, if we press O, I do want to gloss over this perk overview system again when we press this book. This is basically a skill system extension, so it allows you to upgrade specific abilities like your reload speed or melee damage, for an example. Like this is DMR damage. These abilities are stored in crystals in this mod, which you find underground. So those orb ores I showed you a few moments ago, this is how you store those abilities, and when you mine them, they drop crystals with generated abilities in. Positive effects are not guaranteed, but you may find crystals with negative effects too, so you do need to choose wisely. Now, these negative effects can be removed though via a purification process in this mod, and once you have a clean crystal, it can then be upgraded with others in the crystal fusion station. So I did want to mention that. Now, I am going to just quickly show you actually, if we just get some of these different ores and we just mine them. So let's just enter survival mode momentarily and mine some of these ores. And as I mentioned, as you can see, they do drop crystals. So we have black crystal, red orb of purity, and red orb of transmutation. So if you do want to do that, just get the crystal fuse, which is called the crystal fusion station as well, and unlock the crystal forge skill to use all these items with it. Now, the interesting part about this mod is there's also quests. So you have over 100 different quests, which is interesting because you may find a new building with these banners on here, which spawns randomly inside a village. And if we walk in, we see this dude behind this like podium here. It has all these different blocks like the culinary table, grindstone, all the custom blocks I showed you already, as well as a chest where we can steal all of his things like his vitamins and healing items, or sleep in his bed if you're a weirdo. And if we talk to him, this is actually a brand new NPC. This is the mayor NPC. So the Mayor NPC will randomly spawn in vanilla villages, and they can give you different quests. So we have Pacifist, we can't deal any type of damage, but we have to survive for 10 minutes. We kill targets with a sniper, kill targets with melee weapons. So you have a condition, so we must only kill targets with melee weapons and not use any kind of food to heal ourselves. And we can only kill spiders. These quests change every few hours. As you can see, there's a timer which times down, which is above my camera here. It says there's no quests at the moment because we've not got any active quests as well. And all these quests obviously have different targets and different conditions to them. And if we want to simply choose a quest, we just press this big green button. Now, our reputation, you can see it says Reputation Stranger. The quest difficulty and the rewards we get are actually based on this reputation level, and we can actually gain reputation by completing quests, and we lose reputation obviously by failing the quests. And we can also get different types of rare ammunition types and rare items by completing them as rewards too. So we just press green button here, the green button to start it, and then we can show the active quest when we talk to the NPC. And now we have to survive, and it'll also show on the right here above my camera where it says Pacifist 1, survive for 10 minutes, and it's counting down the timer. So now we have to survive for 10 minutes and also deal no damage during that timer, and then we'll complete the quest. And I think we have to go back to the mayor, but I'm not quite sure. Also, an interesting thing is with mobs. I will also note there are some custom mobs here. So we have Zombie Gunner, for an example, Zombie Knight, which looks equally terrifying, and Zombie Nightmare. So all these mobs, there's some changes. So hostile mobs now spawn with 1 to 4 times their normal health, which means they're a lot harder to kill. And on top of that, there's also these custom mods like while spawned, as well as like the Grenadier, for an example, which is a skeleton, and this guy can kill you at super long ranges. So if you hate skeletons like me and they're the bane of your existence because you just get sniped in caves, this dude's going to snipe you, and he's not going to snipe you with a bow, he's going to snipe you with a grenade launcher from like a mile away. So pretty dangerous stuff. Now, as well as enchanting books in Minecraft, Minecraft has potion effects, which are debuffs. So that would be like if you get poisoned, and if you get hurt by mobs in the mod or the environment, you can get debuffs. For an example, you can bleed by getting cut, or when you get bitten by spiders. Let's see if we can get bit by a spider. Now you can see on the left hand side there's like a new effect, which is like a bleeding effect. It shows 30% because I've been bitten by a spider, so I'm going to lose health quicker. These debuffs also slowly spread, and the effects get gradually worse too based on how long it is without being treated, okay? So you do need to use some of these healing items, like I can right click with this adrenaline here, and I can also recover hearts with this healing tool as well, this Kodiak. Now, you need to use specific things, though, to stop the bleeding, because certain things aren't going to do anything. And also, after you die, you'll get a respawn buff, which will cause you to have only 3 hearts for 3 minutes, too. So, if you do kill yourself to get rid of the debuff, it's not really a valid solution, because when you respawn, now I have 3 hearts for 3 minutes, so I can easily die and get targeted by skeletons. Also, it's dark right now, but there's blood moons, so every 3rd day, airdrops will appear randomly near the selected player, and they'll contain some useful resources like I mentioned. But blood moons won't provide you with anything, and they happen every 7 days and just spawn terrifying mobs, which makes you die easier. So you need to be careful, because blood moons spawn mobs that are only aggressive, and they're extremely more aggressive. And also mobs from other dimensions like the End and Nether also spawn during a blood moon. So along with this and special mobs, it makes it pretty impossible if you haven't got the right gear. I also want to go over these military crates. So these crates are spawned earlier. There is actually a way to find these. So level 30 unlocks crafting and interaction with something called the stash detector. So this stash detector here, we unlock the treasure hunter 1 skill to use this, but this basically allows us to try to locate nearby loot stashes, and it shows the distance to them, which is indicated by colored LEDs and beeping sounds. And the stash detector is powered by batteries, so you do need batteries here to actually use this thing. And you can see now in the bottom right it says 64 batteries, and it'll use that power. I'll try and show a screenshot on screen from the mod page where it actually shows it in action. Also, you may have noticed earlier we kind of glossed over it, but we actually saw the gold dragon egg, and I didn't really do anything with it. Well, this is actually something we find when we find gold egg shards. So these are from completing progress like max player level, max weapon level, max mayor reputation. You'll get these shards, and they can be used to then craft this full egg, okay? And once you place it in the world, then what you do is you get a flint and steel, and you light it on fire, and as you can see, there's now particles which are coming out of it, and slowly this will basically unhatch. Okay, this begins the boss spawn process. So if you want to fight the final boss, this is basically how to fight the Minecraft final boss, which is now the gold dragon, not the end dragon. And now it's nighttime, you can actually hear these zombies actually firing the weapons. I don't know who they're firing at. I think they're firing at the villagers. Now villagers actually have a reason to be scared of zombies. Oh, the gold dragon spawned. I didn't even see our egg hatching. Okay, our egg hatched and now we spawned the golden dragon. Okay, this thing is very majestic. Wait, let's set it to daytime just so you can see this thing. Oh my god, that foggy daytime in the winter map. And we have the golden dragon coursing through the skies. I don't know how to damage this guy or how much health he has, but probably one of the coolest bosses I've seen, especially in a gun mod. So there's now more reason to actually get a high level and get a weapon to actually fight this thing. Smash a like on the video and let me know in the comments if you want me to make like its own video where I fight this boss with all the guns. That'd actually be pretty sick. This is Nightmare Craft. Now I had to show you the main menu because this is basically a mod with over 100 hours of gameplay, so it's a big adventure mod. And this mod's basically broken down into different tiers. So we have mods for like the guns, mods for the bosses and armors. It's kind of like a multi-tiered mod in multiple different files. There's 8 new bosses, there's dozens of new mobs, there's a whole bunch of different stuff, and some RPG systems for like mining and stuff, and the loading bar. And this mod actually has its own story. This is actually a story mod, which is really cool. To actually run this mod, you need the custom adventure map because this mod doesn't function without it. But luckily for us, there is actually a download feature in the mod where we can just download it straight into our folder. I definitely recommend to go check out the Nightmare Craft Survival mod page. You can see some information about the mod. It has weapons like pistols, shotguns, ARs, SMGs, rocket launchers, a minigun, proximity mines, traps, arrows, new bows, swords, shields, and a whole lot more. And it's basically an adventure map. It has so many different features and content, and they're trying to make it into a huge story, and right now only chapter 1's begun. Now the map is absolutely huge and I couldn't get it to run, but I'm hearing from a lot of you guys that you guys have tried it, and I've seen a few videos people playing it, so just go check it out. So I'm just going to show you a few quick pictures. We have like werewolf mobs here. We have wizards and custom NPCs, loads of structures. They've put a whole bunch of work into this mod, so go check it out. And it actually has guns and weapons in too. And if you like the last gun RPG mod, then this RPG style mod should interest you. And to close out the video, you know I had to feature another Mr. Crayfish's guns add-on, yet another one, which is actually this mod called Stabx guns. And luckily this mod actually breaks it down into a few different categories, and boy is there a whole bunch of them. Now if you go on the mod page, it only shows like 4 guns, but there's actually a whole ton here. Now since there's so many weapons in this mod, as you can see, I'm just going to show you some pure gameplay for the rest of this mod's clip. And I'm not going to bother covering the attachments because there's just so many and I can't put them on every weapon. What was your favourite mod from this video? Did I miss one? And is there any better ones which should have been on this list? Let me know in the comments down below. For more mods and mod packs that nobody is showing, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.